What is spirituality like for you now? What does it mean, and how do you practice it, or do you practice it?
So spirituality to me now is, who am I in the present moment? How am I showing up? Am I showing up with a positive or negative sort of energy to me? That is my ultimate spirituality, and then I feel like I have practices that help me refine that to a place that I feel like reflects me in the best way. So that is my ultimate spirituality, that right there. And I do feel like I hold some, what would I say? They're not like mantras. They're like, I'll give you an example, like life is wise. I hold that as something that I consider, for example, when things are difficult or uncertain, and I realize fully that I hold it loosely because I live a privileged life on this globe. So I have sort of a privileged state of being able to say that. But I do it less because I think it's true. I'd say it more because I like how I respond in my life when I live that way. I like who I am. And so that's something that I hold at different times. I also hold a paradigm of like grow or die, where in difficult moments I think, am I shrinking? Am I avoidant? Am I growing, or am I dying here? And that helps me sometimes, do the brave thing, do the uncomfortable thing. I also have another paradigm I hold of birth and death that I think I went into a little bit earlier, where when I'm suffering or mourning a loss of something, I look for a birth of something, that I find that they're oftentimes intertwined. And if I look for that birth, then it helps me have this balance of, yes, there's loss in life, and I'm also giving birth to things all the time, and that those two things are actually intertwined.
What would you say your spiritual practices are now?
My spiritual practices would probably, I can tell you things that I meditate every day. I love getting out in nature. I find it really connecting and peaceful. I view my relationships as my spiritual ground, my practice, because it is my close relationships that teach me where my wounds are, or what is left to be done, to be sort of healed in me. They're sort of evidence, if you will. So relationships are a key part of that practice for me, and how I love within those. I also, for me, I mean, cooking healthy food helps keep my energy up, which allows, I love reading. Again, exposure to ideas helps me kind of grow. I also would say,
Did you already say nature?
I think I mentioned that earlier, getting outside. I think writing is a good thing for me. It helps me process things. Those are some of my, I do yoga. Yoga is another, I'd say, spiritual practice. Writing is good for me to kind of get a sense of where I am.
What if somebody says, that's not spirituality? Spirituality is like going to the temple. It's like singing a hymn. It's like going to church and hearing a sermon. That's not spirituality. Those are just living.
I love that. I'd say maybe that's spirituality to you. If it feels good to you, beautiful.
No, but what if they're saying to you, you don't have spirituality?
I'd say different strokes for different folks. I'd say this is what happy looks like for me. This is what, like, honestly, it's feeding me. And I'm glad you have something that feeds you too.